Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi, Kylian Mbappe, Robert Lewandowski. All of these players are available for free, and that is because every player from the top 5 leagues in Europe has been released. So if we look at a team like Arsenal, they only have these greyed out players. You may have heard me say that only the top 5 leagues had the players released. So if we look at a team like Derby County, they still have their players like Wayne Rooney, Scott Carson and other players. And players loaned into the top 5 leagues from outside them. So Scott Carson from the Championship being loaned to City is still at City. As basically how this works is every player at a top flight team has had their contract terminated. So because Scott Carson doesn't have a contract at a team in one of the top 5 leagues, he's on loan there, his contract is with Derby, it has not been terminated. Before we get into the experiment side of this, before we get into the video, I want to say thanks to Jen Caldo because he did create this database and he put it on the Steam Workshop, which allows me to make this video. So thank you. So for this experiment, it's going to be interesting to see how everyone does. Because obviously, in theory, the big clubs should still do well, as you can sign everyone on a free and they will have the biggest wage budgets. As well as having the biggest wage budgets, they have the biggest reputation. So I feel the teams who are going to do best in this experiment aren't the teams who get in the like a Ronaldo and a Messi. It's the teams who make like an actual squad of players. Because right now, no one has any players. So realistically, you have to probably bring in like 18 players at least to have a good chance of going for the league in each respective country. So to clarify what the top 5 leagues actually are and where the contracts have been terminated, it's Spain, England, Germany, Italy and France. All of the top leagues, their Ligue 1, Serie A, Bundesliga, Premier League and La Liga have all had the contracts terminated. So I'm going to go to the 1st of January, see how teams are doing, look what players they've brought in. Because obviously in all of these leagues you can only register players at the end of the transfer window. So I'm going to go to the 1st of January and see how everyone's doing. Okay, it is the 1st of January, world team announced. Manuel Neuer is at Real Madrid, I can see that already. But if I go to leagues in focus, we can see, is there anything that stands out? Valencia in 2nd, Barcelona in 4th. PSG not even in the top 8 for their league, where are they? They're 12th. Let's see, because PSG you'd think they'd do well, because they have the reputation and they have a very big budget. But let's look at their transfer history. I mean, they brought in a good amount of players, but they haven't really brought in any big names. Like, the ones I recognise, Van Ginkel, Dimitri Payet, Iago Aspas. That's actually quite a good pickup, but not really the quality you would expect from a PSG. In that league, it is Marseille top of the division. And if we go to their players, they got a decent keeper in Rico from Fulham, I believe. Although I think he was only loaned there. Then they got Zuma in their defence, Javinho and Moussa Dembele. That's a very good striker up top, Moussa Dembele. He's got 10 goals already this season. That's got to be helping. They've also got Sanderberg, but this side isn't like crazy good. Yet it's still top of the league. And that just shows that building a coherent squad is more important than getting in the big names. So if we were to go to season preview, yeah, Marseille are controlling a lot of that season preview. The only other team in it are Rennes, because they've got players like Phil Foden and Angelino. Oh my god, Danny Ings is at Rennes if you look here on the side. Danny Ings at Rennes, how's he doing out in France? He's banging them in, to be fair to him. Another league which has a bit of a shock is the Serie A, with Atalanta in 1st, Juventus in 4th, Inter in 5th, Lazio all the way down in 17th, Napoli in 12th. It's a bit of a shaken up league. Let's look at their season preview. Oh my god, that is literally all Inter Milan. How are Inter Milan not doing better? They've got some really good players. Let's go and look at Inter Milan. They're like 5th in the league, but really with that squad I'd expect better. Oh, they're playing the greyed out players. The reason Inter Milan aren't doing too well is because they're playing grayed out players, which is the players the game gives you just so you have 11 people to put out. If you look at their bench, it's all that. So even though they've got a really strong first 11, they've been done in by not having actual players. So maybe in January, if Inter Milan add some depth, register a few more players in, they could really put a challenge on, because their first 11 is frightening. So Juventus don't have any players in the Dream 11. Let's see how they're doing. So Juventus actually one place above Inter Milan. They don't really have as good a first 11, but you can see they've just got a filled out squad. There's no grey players here, and maybe what plays a role into this is I think some second 11s and under 23s still can contribute to the first team, and they haven't been wiped. So that might actually be something that's helping them out. But I think they have brought quite a lot of players in. Looking at their transfer history, they have brought a lot of people in. Then Atalanta, who are actually top of the league, let's look at their squad. Again, it's another one which is just filled up with players. This one of slightly higher quality. They got Akone, they got Leno, they got Tielemans, Ansu Fati. Ansu Fati's a bit of a coup for them, and he's playing very well. 10 goals in 12 games. Nelson Semedo on the bench. Pulisic on the bench. He was in the Media Dream 11. Dwight McNeil, Yedlin, Lucas Digne, Ronaldo Vieira on the in the reserves. I mean, he's on leave. So that's such a strong team just throughout. No wonder they're doing so well. Now, looking at the Premier League, we have Chelsea, City, Liverpool and Man United. Quite a standard top four. Arsenal in 8th, Tottenham in 7th. Nothing here really too out of the ordinary. Maybe Southampton in last. That's not completely normal. Leicester are a bit low, but these are all things that you wouldn't be surprised to see. Now, Chelsea, who are first, interestingly enough, don't have a very deep squad. They've got some good players. They've got Siunchu, they've got Calvin Phillips, they've got Ziyech, they've got Isaac from somewhere in La Liga. There we go, okay. I mean, he's not as good as I thought, but in Football Manager, he seems to get it done. I've used him in a few online drafts, and he's done it for me. That's honestly what I was basing him off. Interesting. So this is probably the first team we've seen doing really well without a deep squad. Maybe if we look at their under 23s, I mean, they got a keeper in there, under 18s. Yeah, no, that's not what's helping them. Interesting that they can do it with such a thin squad. So I've brought up the Media Dream 11, and a lot of it is Chelsea as well as City, and those are the top two teams. Diaz is at United, no, at Liverpool, and then Simon as the keeper. Looking at key players, Isaac's actually right up there, considered one of the best players in the league. Interesting. If we look at his stats, I mean, his stats, they're pretty good. He's quite quick. I know he's quite tall. And he's a decent striker, but I don't think he'd be the second best Premier League player. Now, La Liga looks fairly standard. I don't Barcelona even in 4th isn't unheard of with Koeman as the manager. Real Madrid in 1st is fairly standard. Apart from maybe Valencia in 2nd. That's not really expected, but the rest of this La Liga table, at least to someone who doesn't really watch La Liga too much, looks pretty standard. Looking at this Real Madrid squad, it's probably the strongest one we've seen so far. We've got Haaland, Coutinho, Salah, Pogba, Milinkovic, Savic, Afonso Davis, Jamal Lascelles. How's he snuck in then? Galactico Lascelles. But we've got Manuel Neuer, De Vrij, Keylor Navas on the bench, Reece Nelson. Oh, look, it's Joel Ward. What's he doing here? But you can see, again, a team doing really well with a deep squad and just a really fucking good one. Now Valencia, the team in 2nd, mostly the same, just a very strong team in terms of depth, but not quite the star power of a Real Madrid. They got Ben Davis, Højbjerg, Jeff Hendrick, Jeffrey Slupp, got Neil Tabor, Alex Tuanzebe. Fabio Barini managed to get himself in here. And he's doing quite well. 9 games in total and 4 goals. Go on, Fabio. Andros Townsend as well. Wow, you get some really odd players here. Now for the Bundesliga. We have Bayern Munich on a perfect record. 13 played, 13 won. And their team is not even that good compared to what we've seen in some other nations. I mean, it's good. They've got quite a lot of German players. Maybe there'll probably be a rule in the league about having so many. But Daniel James is not great. Jonathan Tah, Bender. None of this is what you'd say is an amazing team. Yet they're 100%. We look at their schedule. They've lost the Champions League game. They've lost the first round of the DFK Pokal. Now let's look at the media dream 11 for the Bundesliga. Not even mostly Bayern Munich, you know. There's quite a good mix. If you look over to the side, they've got a couple of the best players. But I think this might actually be one of the weaker leagues. Like Tomori can't get a game for Chelsea in real life, and he's in the media dream 11. What's that all about? That's how the top 5 leagues are doing, but I feel like there are some names we haven't seen. So if I go to Kylian Mbappe, he's still on a free. Ronaldo, I don't think I saw. Ronaldo, still on a free. Lionel Messi, is he still on a free? Yes, he is. Maybe some of these bigger players aren't getting a move because of their wage demands. I mean, Lionel Messi is wanted by Leicester. Maybe Lionel Messi's holding out on some of these other top players for like a really top club. Maybe they want a Real Madrid, a Barcelona to come in for them. Okay, I'm going to go to the end of the season and see how every team is done by then. And also see if Ronaldo and Messi and like get picked up. Okay, we're at the end of the season and my view of leagues has somewhat been ruined by some playoffs in Germany and France. But looking at it, apart from Atalanta and maybe some of the leagues we can't see, at least Spain and England have some standard league winners. Let's see, Bundesliga, league table, Bayern Munich won that. That's very standard. Now, PSG were doing really poorly when we left this off. Were they able to recover their season? Let's go. Wait, Monaco. Wait, is this not the relegation playoff? Oh my god, Monaco were relegated. I didn't even notice them. PSG managed to get 4th. That's pretty decent considering where they were. They finished on 69 points. Not a million miles off the title either. Oh, and Kylian Mbappe is top of average rating. So he managed to find a club. As you can see, he only played 20 games, only getting 7 goals. But the average rating does show he was playing well. So Kylian Mbappe's been relegated because he joined Monaco. How have Monaco managed to get relegated with Mbappe? So right now, I think the French league is the most surprising to what normally happens. In Serie A, we have a pretty different league table with Atalanta walking to the league. They had Ansu Fati, Bernd Leno was playing well. I don't think much has changed over here though since we were last here, so I'll move on to Germany. And in Germany, Bayern Munich walk the league. Not keeping the 100% record, but it's still a very good one on 69 goal difference. Very nice. Now for the Premier League, you have a very standard top 5. Arsenal, the only team in the traditional top 6 not in it. They were quite a way off as well. But looking at it, Calvert-Lewin led the line for City. I don't know if I noticed that before. Ziyech getting a lot of player of the matches. But the Premier League, at least in how the league went, pretty standard. Wolves getting relegated, you wouldn't expect that. But the whole thing does seem fairly standard. Then the Spanish league, Real Madrid walked it with only 1 defeat. Mo Salah and Haaland are obviously the 2 best players. Haaland not in the goal scoring charts. If we click on him, I mean, he did get 22 for the season and 18 in the league. He missed quite a bit of football actually in the league. So it looks like he's actually done really well when he's played, but for whatever reason he hasn't got so much game time. Now, something I didn't look at before, the Champions League, which has been won by PSG. Okay, so PSG came 4th in the French league. Don't have a great team like Van Ginkel, Dimitri Payet. These players they're decent, but I don't see them winning any Champions Leagues. So if we go here, and I just want to see the Champions League games. So their group, they had Lazio, Chelsea, Borussia Mönchengladbach. Really strong group. They did well to get out of that. Then they drew Bayern Munich, who were doing very well in the German league. Maybe not the strongest team. They get past them. Then they have Rennes in the quarterfinals. A pretty fortunate draw again. Ajax in the semi-finals. And then City, probably the most challenging game of the whole run, and they managed to beat. So let's look. Who was in the semi-finals for this then? It was City, Porto, Ajax and PSG. So it's two big teams on the left here. Ajax and Porto doing well. Probably because they could have picked up some of these free players and they got to keep their squad. So if we look at their transfer history, did they actually bring any of these free players in? I mean, they did, not like a massive amount of them. So they did bring in some of these free transfers, but maybe just having a full squad already there helped them out massively. Same with Ajax. Now let's look at the Europa League. We go down here. Won by Paco. Is that? I'm not quite sure how you say their name. But they've won it again. A team who weren't affected in losing all their players have done really well in one of these tournaments. Benfica as well getting to the final. So Atalanta was the last team from the traditional top 5 leagues to be in the tournament. And let's just check. Messi and Ronaldo didn't get a club. Messi still a free agent, and I'm going to guess Ronaldo still a free agent. Cristiano Ronaldo went to Ajax. Oh, that's interesting. So Ronaldo did find a club in the end, going to Ajax. So what have I learnt today? Basically, if you take away all the good players from the teams, the rich ones still will do well, but occasionally they'll do shit like Monaco. That's what I've learned from this Football Manager experiment. Thanks for watching.